pig butchering scam is one of the most evil and vile scams out there. And unfortunately, it's also one of the most common scams. And people lose a lot of money. In fact, experts estimate that the pig butchering scam has cost people worldwide over $10 billion. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you what the pig butchering scam is and how you can protect you and your loved ones, because it's all too simple for us to become victims of that scam. And I don't want to see that happen to you. So the pig butchering scam gets its name from a farmer that fattens up a cow or a pig before it's time to send that pig to slaughter. So you get a lot of kudos, you get a lot of feel goods as they're preparing you for the slaughter. And what happens is we've all gotten these texts from people that we don't know. You know, what time does the party start at 6 p.m.? Or are you going to such and such an event this weekend? Or it's been a while since we talked. Let's reconnect. So it either starts with a text from somebody that you don't know, and oftentimes our sniffer is warning us that, you know, something doesn't feel right with this. Or it starts on a dating app where, you know, people are trying to meet one another, and starting conversations with strangers by messages is much more common. Regardless of the way that you enter the scam, then what ends up happening is people are fostering this nurturing and this trusting relationship. At first, it starts off with like, oh, you sound like an interesting person. Let's get to know each other better. And it's a scam built off of people wanting to have a romantic, trusting relationship with somebody, a deep, trusting relationship with somebody. And that's why I say it's so vile and evil, because it's really playing off of the best part of being a human is, you know, our willingness to put ourselves out there and to knowingly put ourselves out and try to create new relationships with people. And unfortunately, the scammers are taking advantage of it. So what happens is they start off slow, and it's primarily about getting to know you. And the other person will say, oh, I'm in the business world, or I'm an investment professional. And they'll just kind of leave it at that and let you explore and let you kind of probe more. Because what they want is they want you to be pursuing them as opposed to them trying to push. Because if they push, our spider senses are going to start tingling, and we're going to know that something's not quite right. So it's a slow scam. It's one that takes time. Oftentimes people are messaging each other several times during the day, and they may say something about, oh, you know, this was a really good day for me at work. I did really well on some investment. There's also a real estate angle to this, and I'll save that for later, but let's stay on the investing side. And maybe the other person says, you know, I've never been successful at investing, or I want to be better at investing. Could you help me? And rather than jump right in and say, oh yeah, I'll help you, and start leading you down the road to the scam, they'll say, you know, read this book, read this article, educate yourself first. And then they're going to let you try to pursue that. And then you say, okay, I've read the book, maybe have some conversations on it. And then eventually, you know, they're going to say, well, you know, I trade cryptocurrency, I trade these assets on this specific platform, I use this custodian, I use this exchange. And you know, you only need $500 or $1,000 to open up an account there. And it seems harmless enough. It's a small amount of money. So you open up the account, and that person that you've been texting and messaging with maybe shares with you, okay, here's the trade that I'm doing today. And miraculously, you know, you make 10, 15, 20% on that trade in a couple days, which can happen with a legitimate trade. But in this case, the whole platform, the custodian, everything is bogus on this. And like I said, this is one of the most common scams. So what happens is you have initial success early on. They may even tell you, you know what? Start small. Start slow. Don't put more money in right now. I want to make sure that you're learning the ropes along the way. You want to be smart about this, right? And they're trying to build confidence. Again, this is the fattening of the pig before the slaughter. And really, there are paydays when you start putting more money in. So maybe you started with a couple hundred or $1,000. Then you're like, wow, I'm doing really well here. I want to put $5,000 in. And you keep seeing these trades, and you go to their website, and the website is saying that you're making money. But you're only, fictitious. It's the whole thing's just a scam. It's all made up. It's all play money. And they're saying that you're making money, but if you tried to pull out your money, which we'll talk about in a minute, it would be a different story. So people put more money in. It looks like things are growing and things are going well, and they look back and all of a sudden they've put in $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 or more. And it's very common for people to lose that amount of money or more in these scams. And then they're like, okay, now I want to start taking my money out. Hey, I've had good success. I want to transfer it over to, a Schwab, a Fidelity, a Vanguard, a custodian that you've heard. And this is when things go bad, but not quite yet. They want to get every last dollar off of the table. So what the platform will say is, unfortunately, your account's been flagged as a security risk. We need you to deposit another $5,000, another $10,000 as a sign of good faith, so we know that you're not scamming us, right? And they're trying to get you to put that last money in. And you may go to this person that you've developed a relationship with. And again, the important thing here is everything has been done online. Maybe there's a phone call involved. Rarely is there a video chat involved, but there could be. But everything's been done by messages. So you message the other person and say, hey, they're asking me to put money in. I've never had that happen before in order to get money out. And they might say something like, yeah, that happened to me before. It's not a big deal. I got my money back. Go ahead, you can trust them. And then you do that, and those are the last dollars that you put in. Or they say something else happened, you need to put in some more money. And now all of a sudden you get a sick feeling in your stomach, and you realize you've been scammed, but it's too late. So again, the telltale signs is it's done by messages. You never meet physically in person, right? Because most of us live in a country where if that person that was scamming you was there in your country, they could be subject to arrest. They tend to be in third world countries where the law enforcement is not enforcing even their laws. And unfortunately, they tend to oftentimes be victims themselves. They may be a part of human trafficking. So it's just a lousy situations on all ends. But I'm focusing on you. I want you to be aware of what the scam is. And you know where I could see it happening the easiest is with a dating app, because you're used to communicating by message. And I was watching somebody else's video where the person messaging was like, I like to get to know somebody in writing first, because it gives me a look into their soul. It lets you do thoughtful thinking and share your views. And you could see where, some people would easily fall for that. So it's important, if you think there's a scam going on, contact the FBI. Unfortunately, they're all too familiar with those scams. I did mention that there's a real estate angle to this as well. Let me cover that quickly also. And the real estate angle of this is maybe there's two people in a relationship. This tends to be where a female is the scam victim. Is the only place that I've seen the real estate scam, and they're the other person, typically it's a guy, is saying, oh, we should buy a house together. And, I found this great house, and you live, I'm just making up states, you live in Ohio, and, and I live in North Carolina, and we should buy a house together in Georgia, whatever it is, and we can live together there. And the house is $400,000. I'll put in $300,000. You put in the lesser amount. You put in $100,000. We'll buy the house together, and we'll begin our life together. And unfortunately, once they send that money, then either the house wasn't for sale, or if the house was for sale, their money didn't go for purchasing that house, and that money is gone. And because these scams are typically run in developing countries, once the money's gone, it's really hard to get that money back. So it's a common scam. It's growing in popularity. People lose big money with it. I don't want to see that happen to you. And I want to close this video on a happier note, which is if you're in your 40s, your 50s, or your 60s, I want you to think about watching this video here, which are 7 things that I want you to think about stop doing in your 50s and 60s in order to enjoy your journey to retirement. This has been a heavy topic, so I look forward to seeing you in this video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.